Good morning, closers. Today we'll talk on a very beautiful topic which probably all of you would relish to speak and then think about. This is about the movie A Few Good Men, where you find a lieutenant fighting against a colonel to protect two corporals and rank below of some deeds which they were not directly responsible, and it happened at the executive order of the colonel. Now the colonel is basically a very great respected army man, and then he was put in Cuba to protect the borders. It just happens that one of the persons who's a new recruit, he didn't stand up to the mark of what the army wants. So he puts him through a grill which unfortunately goes wrong and the person dies. But the entire responsibility falls on a corporal and his deputy, who are actually not responsible, but they just carried out the orders. But it just made to appear that they are guilty and they'll have to spend about many years in prison. Now this case comes to the army. Actually there is a way of justice. So this lieutenant was got a good track record of out of court settlements within the army. He is brought onto it and he tries to tell the two people, the corporal and his deputy, to take the plea bargain and do a 2-year sentence, which is actually wrong because they were not entirely guilty. So his client said, to hell with you, I will take whatever punishment the army gives, but I will not lie. So, and he thereby the lieutenant loses his respect and then decides, okay, whatever the corporal says is right, I will fight for justice. But we should understand that the corporal is here, the lieutenant is here, and the colonel is there, way above. Now you understand there is no level playing field here. A lieutenant who is here has to take on a highly respected colonel of a misdeed, which doesn't usually happen in army or in any corporate life. Nobody would listen to a software engineer taking on a CEO, or for that matter a senior person or even a senior manager. That doesn't happen. It's a rarity, and it's an even more rarity that the person junior wins. However, as the system is made, this lieutenant decides and follows every trick in the book to nail, to make the first feel that the corporal is not guilty. He files and decides finally he will put the colonel. It's called Colonel Jessup, portrayed by Jack Nicholson. Jack tries to get him on the stand, and he has got a simple strategy. That colonel is very angry, aggressive, and is very proud of what he has done. And there is a thing called code red, which is not something written, but which has been extensively followed. It's a kind of a ragging thing. Now, Lieutenant Weinberg, who's played by Tom Cruise, decides finally that he has to close the issue in terms for his clients, and then decides to put him on the stand, and then tries trick after trick after trick, but Colonel, being his colonel, has covered his tracks beautifully. And then finally he decided, he's about to lose. He's about to lose. Weinberg is about to lose. He then makes him angry. One by one, he starts picking like a pack of hyena at his flaws. You ordered this, you did this, you are aggressive. And finally he said, you ordered the code red. And the colonel in a heat of moment says yes and admits that he did it. Now that one particular point, yes, I ordered the code red, was enough to nail the colonel. And then he is arrested. So the corporal are not entirely guilty and they are discharged. But the point is they just carried out the orders, and for that, but still they are expected to speak for the people below to whom they have supposed to protect. So they get a very mild slap on the wrist and a let off. But the colonel is late. Now, why is this being said? In situations, in closing, you have to have a level playing field, which is never happened, which doesn't happen. But why am I saying this particular thing? You have a colonel at a very high level, you have a lieutenant far below him, and then he has to put him on the stand, which itself is supposed to be blasphemy in some parlance. But he puts him on the stand, provokes him, gets at an equal level and blasts him, and then he makes him come down and his standing goes up. So much so that when he admits, the colonel is made to admit his wrongdoing in just one line. Yes, I did it, that's all. That was enough in front of the judge to secure his arrest, the colonel's arrest. So the beauty of this is that the colonel's lawyer, who is also a good friend of this lieutenant, he also agrees and then tells the judge, the colonel now has to be court-martialed or he has to stand trial, let him be arrested. So this gulf, whenever you are in a transaction or in a meeting, especially with the client, this has to be bridged. I think this is what was extensively talked in closing. It should be a level playing field. If we lose this level playing field, saying, oh, he is an authority here and I am here, I think we can't close. This has to be always made here. So the brilliance of the director in this part is, though the lieutenant is here, the colonel is here, the lieutenant never considers himself to be in any way not so skilled. He tries always going up, and at a particular point he makes a statement which makes the colonel fall in stature and he goes up by a simple argument and provoking him. In closing also you have to provoke your client, push their pain points. He took the pain points, he knocked, he came down, he went up, he secured the closing, he made him admit he is guilty. So that is a very great important lesson as far as closing is concerned. I thought I'll give this allegory of a few good men to drive home the point which was made. Thank you, gentlemen, and do subscribe or comment on how you felt, and if you are interested, please go into my YouTube. Thank you.